So, today we will take a look at rank 5 of the American tech tree for our tier list. Much like we did with the German tier lists, this one will be the last one for this nation. Rank 5 is a rank that serves as a transition between late World War II vehicles and early Cold War ones. For the US, you won't necessarily see much of a difference since stuff like good mobility or having a stabilizer was already present on lower BR vehicles. Anyway, as per usual, let's start with the light tanks, and we once again only have one available at this rank, the M551 Sheridan. This one is considered by many for being a pretty bad, if not the worst light tank in the tech tree. The mobility is good, but the big problem lies in the firepower department. You see, this light tank has the gimmick of being able to shoot ATGMs out of its main cannon once unlocked. However, said ATGM is not that good. It's very slow and is not doing a lot of damage. Plus, your only other options for ammunitions are either heat or HE, both with very low velocity and at a BR where you start facing a lot of tanks with ERA components. In other words, you might want to play this tank only to secure enough points to jump in a plane afterwards. D tier. For medium tanks, we have first of all the M47. This one is a pretty decent medium once you fully unlock all of its modifications. What you are aiming for is the HeatFS shell so that you can take care of most heavy vehicles at your BR and above. Without it, your cannon might struggle to pen anything unless your target is side-on. This tank has good mobility and the turret has a lot of weird angles which may or may not save you from time to time. Basically, imagine the M47 like an M46 on steroids. I'll put this one in B tier. Next up we have the M48A1. For me this tank is a downgrade when compared to the M47. You start with only APCR, so from the get-go you know that you will suffer. The armor is not much of an improvement either. You are a big target and have a slightly worse reverse speed too. One thing to also notice is that you have a particularly vulnerable cupola, and at this BR you see a lot of howitzers capable of one-shotting you by exploiting this weak spot. The only good thing about this vehicle is that it's optional for research, so you might as well just keep it. The M48 will go in C tier. The last medium is the M60. Visually very similar to the M48, this one is actually better. You no longer start with APCR, have a better angled upper front plate, a bigger cannon, but still keep the big cupola weakness. For only a slight difference in BR, I think this one is just way better. One additional small issue. Unless you also want to play the M551, you don't have a big lineup available to use, so you might want to play this one as a standalone vehicle. Anyway, a decent medium tank which competes fairly well with other vehicles at this BR, and for that reason will go in B tier. Moving on to heavies with the T32 and T32E1. These two tanks are the equivalent of the Jumbo Pershing but at 7.3 and 7.7 respectively. Both have incredible armor, average mobility, and maybe a firepower which starts to show some limitations as they are still using the 90mm cannon, but unfortunately their best shell is still APHE with pretty low penetration power, for the tier at least, and a long reload. Between the two, I think the T32 is better than the E1, mostly for BR reasons. At 7.7 you face a lot more tanks, with ammunition capable of going through your shiny improved upper front plate, but at 7.3 it still works quite well. I'll put the T32 in A while the T32E1 will go in C. The other available heavy tank is the M103. This one is pretty good. The frontal armor is powerful enough to bounce most APHE shells, and the turret armor is also powerful enough to deflect some APDS or even low caliber HeatFS. This tank can fire two devastating shells. One is an AP shell. If you enjoyed the T34, this will feel very familiar. Or a HeatFS shell. Both are equally useful and very damaging. Having access to a rangefinder transforms you in a very scary sniper and allows you to be very accurate. Be careful however, since you have a pretty long reload and are very visible. Still, this vehicle is for me an A tier heavy tank. Our single anti-air today is, well, a big disappointment. The M163. This entire is pretty much a big Gatling gun, very noisy by the way, with a very inaccurate radar. It's poorly protected, struggles to kill planes, can't do anything to tanks, is noisy and very ugly. Do yourself a favor and just skip it. Straight D tier. Last but not least, we have our only tank destroyer and only vehicle at 7.0, the T-95. This one is a mix of tank destroyer and heavy tank. Imagine a flattened mouse with additional weak spots. The cannon is great and shoots a very powerful APHE. The mobility is horrendous, 13 km/h max, but you do turn well on the spot. Strong armor everywhere, but you are very low to the ground, which can impede your ability to see some targets, and you have 2 cupolas, which are basically your greatest weakness. This SPG will bully players who don't know where to shoot to kill it, but at this level, you won't come across that many. You'll also probably die to planes a lot, since you can't really dodge bombs. This one will be your niche vehicle of the tier list, and will as a result go in D. I'd suggest you try it at least once, because it's still fun to play occasionally, but don't expect great results all the time. And that's it for rank 5 and for our tier list series for the US. I hope this tier list will give you a better idea on which vehicle is good or which one you should avoid in your early to mid journey through this tech tree. Overall a great tech tree with a lot of versatile vehicles and a few interesting prototypes which provide a unique experience. Anyway, let me know if you agree or disagree with this ranking, and with that said, I'll see you in the next one.